We're living in a wonderland. Hello and welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. There we go. Haven't actually been able to use that yet, but we'll have it there soon. I hope you're all very well. I hope you're all safe. I wanted to bring you the first video in our top 5 installments here on the Kop TV. Today it's top 5 Liverpool Academy players playing for Liverpool or connected to Liverpool right now. So a lot of headaches around the top 5 here. There are going to be some controversial ones. So to qualify, you have to either be playing for Liverpool now or have to have your parent club as Liverpool if you're on loan. A lot of names were thrown into the hat for this one. I've definitely had to revise this list, go over it, send it around to a few Kopites and let me know their thoughts on it too. There's a lot of notable mentions, honorary mentions that we'll get to at the end, which may answer some questions that maybe weren't answered in the top 5. So, coming in at number 5. Nico Williams, the 19-year-old from Wrexham. Unfortunately, he's a Welsh boy. It would have been good for England to have him on their books. But for me, he's number 5 because as a 19-year-old, he's come into the team and shown a lot of maturity. I remember the game against Arsenal in particular. It was like he'd been playing there for years. He's a great backup choice to Trent. For this season, he's played 4 games in the FA Cup. He's played 2 in the League Cup with 1 assist. That was the Divock Origi 5-5 bicycle kick, scissor kick kind of goal. Great cross for that goal. And that's my favourite moment of Nico's so far. I mean, does he have a future at Liverpool? I hope so. I mean, like I said, they're great cover for whenever Trent is injured or suspended. I'd rather have him at right back than Gomez, if I'm honest. I've made it clear that Gomez is my first choice at centre back to partner Virgil. It looks like after a few, maybe 5 or 6 years, actually it's around 4 or 5 years actually, Nathaniel Klein will probably leave in the summer, the number 2 that we've had. And for me, that's a great opportunity for someone like Nico Williams to sneak in on the bench and cover Trent. So he comes in at number 5. Number 4 on the list is Curtis Jones, the 19-year-old Scouser. This season, he's played in 4 FA Cup games. He scores 2 goals. He's played in 2 EFL games and had 1 assist and 1 Premier League substitute appearance as well. For me, obviously, it goes without saying, my favourite moment of Curtis Jones so far was that screamer against Everton. Instant legend, instant Scouse points for life once you score the winner against Everton at Anfield. Took the goal really well, but most importantly, he kicked on from there. I think we played Shrewsbury in the Cup after that Everton game. I was at that game. Actually, the Everton game in which Curtis did score was the first Kop TV game that we covered. And then shortly after, like I said, we played Shrewsbury. He scored in that game too. He's got 1 assist as well in the FA Cup. So a breakthrough season for Curtis Jones. Like I said, becomes an instant legend when you score. A lot of potential. I see him as a central player who can play in the centre circle, but I think his most effective position, as we've seen already, is just in that kind of 10 role, maybe an 8 role, more so than a 10. But I mean, his goal that he scored was definitely in a number 10 position. So now the question we're going to ask for all of these entrants here in this list is that we have to name their stats, their favourite moments of the season so far, and if they have a future at Liverpool. So again, I hope he does. I mean, it's rare that we see a Scouse midfielder break into a team like that and score a winner like that, reminiscent of early Stevie, especially with goals against Everton. But I think with Curtis Jones, I mean, being realistic in the central midfield / attacking cam role, we've got loads of players that have won Champions Leagues and have won leagues for us. So I'd like to say that next season, although I'd love him to feature in all of the cup games and get more Premier League time, it could be an option for him to go out on loan. But I do genuinely think that Curtis Jones has everything it takes to be a Liverpool midfielder in the next 3 to 5 years. And obviously, a Liverpool boy, so it would be even better to see him shine there. But yeah, he gets in at number 4 pretty much purely for his goal against Everton. Number 3 in the list is Ryan Brewster, the 20-year-old from East London. His stats this season: he's played in 1 FA Cup game and he's played in 2 EFL games all this season. I remember his debut was probably my favourite moment of his so far, seeing a kid that young to actually have a competitive start for Liverpool. He had a great pre-season. Him and a few other young players really excelled in that pre-season, and rightfully so. He got his chance this season. He started against MK Dons. We won that game. And his involvement in the first goal of that 5-5 League Cup game against Arsenal was brilliant. I actually thought he scored in that game. From where I was sitting, it looked like he'd scored at the near post. But from what I remember from him for that game was how strong he was. He was really holding the ball up against, let's face it, big lads in David Luiz and Socrates, I think, who played. So, I mean, this kid is going to be a star. There's absolutely no doubt about that. His numbers at a youth level for England really are only matched, from what I've seen, by Michael Owen at that age. He's already won a World Cup with England at an under-17 level. He's got excellent pedigree. He was also an unused substitute for the Champions League final, so that's how he got the winner's medal, which I love. Winning a Champions League at that age can't do anything but set you up for a fantastic career. I just hope he stays away from injuries. He's on loan right now at Swansea, 4 goals in 11 games. Great numbers for someone that young. Someone who Swansea have actually really relied upon to score the goals, but obviously during this period where there's no football, we don't even know if he will play again for Swansea. He might just come straight back to Liverpool and then go back out on loan. But out of these 5 in this list, he's definitely got the potential to be the one who scores the most out of these 5 guys. He's a proven goal scorer at every level he's played at, and I really do think he's going to be a star. If it's at Liverpool, well, listen, I hope it is another one who I'd love to see break into the team. But it's so tough to say that when we rely so heavily on the front 3 to bang the goals in and Origi to come on as a sub. I'd love to see us rotate it a little bit more next season. Now, obviously, we might bring in someone like a Timo Werner who potentially could see Brewster go out on loan again. And if that is the case, then I don't think it would be a bad thing for Brewster. I do think we should keep hold of him. I do think he's got absolutely unreal numbers when it comes to his games and goal ratio at a youth level. So he's a proven goal scorer, and it's only a matter of time before we see him playing for someone. If it's not Liverpool, he'll be banging in goals for a Premier League team. I'm pretty sure of that. But I'd love to see him stay. Unused sub in the Champions League final, number 3 on this list, Ryan Brewster. So number 2 on this list. Now, this was tough. This was a really difficult one, a controversial one, because he's not actually playing for Liverpool right now. Another one like Ryan Brewster, he's out on loan. This is Harry Wilson, of course, the 23-year-old from Wrexham, and he comes in at number 2. Now, weirdly enough, Harry Wilson, he's only ever played 30 minutes of professional football, first-team football for Liverpool. That was coming on as a sub in an away FA Cup tie to Plymouth. I think he came on for Lucas Leiva, who scored the winner in that game. I mean, pre-season wise, he's genuinely been our best player in a couple of pre-seasons, I've thought. He has been around the club since 2014, so he's been flirting in and out of at least first team squads for the last 3 years, if he's not been on loan at either Derby or Bournemouth. He actually scored an unbelievable Harry Wilson-esque type goal, which is now what it's known as, against Lyon in the pre-season to this season, and then goes on loan to Bournemouth. But it was a fantastic goal. And now my favourite moment of his so far, I mean, unfortunately there's not been a favourite moment of mine of Harry Wilson's in a Liverpool first team shirt at the moment, but his goal against Man United for Derby, and then he did that to the away fans as he scored. I mean, that goal, he's knuckleballed it, he's bent it, it's dipped, it's swerved. It's at least 35 yards out. It's probably one of the best free kicks ever scored at Old Trafford. Facts. Unbelievable goal. And now, of course, if he scored there this season, he'd have to do that. Who can forget his goal against Man City as well? One of the Premier League goals of the season so far. Definitely. Top right-hand corner from a left-footed free kick. You really don't see that often these days. So, I mean, it's tough to tell whether he'll have a future at Liverpool. I think out of these 5 players, he scored the most Premier League goals. He's played the most Premier League games, apart from our number 1. And I think genuinely he's such a talent. Is there space for him at Liverpool in the long term? I don't know. I think he's maybe joined into a Liverpool team right now that is probably an unlucky time to join. I think maybe 5 years ago he probably would have got a really good chance, a la Ben Woodburn, a la some of the early players under Klopp. But unfortunately for him, I think it's come at the wrong time. I'd love him to stay, and I'd love him to play for us and start for us in Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup and the Premier League. I do think he's that good. He's unbelievable in that 10 role, and he's got a hell of a strike on him from free kicks. Great passer of the ball too. Really want to see this kid succeed. He's a really down-to-earth lad. Doesn't mind going on loan. 15 goals in 40 games for Derby. I think he got 12 assists as well. And he's scored 4 goals this season already for Bournemouth. And every goal's a screamer. So there's no doubt in my mind that this kid won't be special. It's just, will he be special at Liverpool? A bit similar to Ryan Brewster in that way. But he's at number 2 in this countdown. Now, number 1 in the countdown, there isn't really any discussion for this. Trent AlexanderArnold, the 21-year-old Scouser from West Derby. Big up to West Derby, that's where my family from in Liverpool. But the boy is unbelievable. Some could say that he's already changed how right back or full back should play. Not only in England, but in Europe. He's the youngest ever player to start in 2 consecutive Champions League finals. He's won the Champions League, he's won the Super Cup, he's won the World Club Cup, he's won unlimited amounts of youth awards already. He's in every team of the season since he's been involved in the first team at Liverpool. He is unbelievable, and I genuinely do think he's one of our best players. I'd like to see him stay out on that right-hand side in terms of his future at Liverpool. No doubt in my mind that he'll stay and retire at Liverpool, and I'm so grateful for that fact, because it's not been, I mean, it has been a long time since we've had a player that we can lay our hat on him and say, he is 100% Scouse, he's not going anywhere, he's staying Liverpool through and through. And that's what we've got with Trent. We're so lucky to have him. Unbelievable footballer, right and left foot, technique, he's got it all day long. And he's done it all at Liverpool already. And obviously when we win the league, he'll have that medal to add to his collection at such a young age too. So already been played at a World Cup with England as well. He goes in at number 1 of the list. And that's why Trent AlexanderArnold, the Scouser in our team, is number 1. Now that's the list done. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Which players should we keep? Which should we sell? Do you agree with the orders of the top 5? Let us know in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's get the Kop TV bouncing. Right, now there's always going to be some unlucky players who missed out on this list. What I should say as well is this is over the last 10 years. So this is the top 5 Liverpool Academy players still playing for Liverpool or connected to Liverpool now in the last 10 years. So there's your top 5. Trent wins it. But here's the notable mentions, and there's a lot of them. Connor Cody, Harvey Elliott. Just haven't quite seen enough of Elliott yet to put him on the top 5. Raheem Sterling, of course, now at City, came from QPR's academy to Liverpool's academy in 2010, was brought to the club by Rafa Benitez, actually, funnily enough. Kelleher, the goalkeeper now, young Irish lad, saved the winning penalty in the League Cup against Arsenal at Anfield. Ryan Kent, in and out of the kind of pre-season teams, now plying his trade in Rangers, where I think Gerrard is looking like he's getting the best out of him. Herbie Kane played this season against Aston Villa. Martin Kelly came through the academy in kind of 2008-9. Was a good player for a couple of years for us. Now it is at Crystal Palace. Andre Wisdom, again, had a good career since leaving Liverpool, most notably at Derby and Norwich. I think he's in America now, or maybe, yeah, I think he's in America. Good on him. Jordan Ibe came through around the time that Carragher left the club, which was about 2013. How Michael Edwards managed to sell him on for 15 million was a great bit of business. Yasser Larouci, who we've seen this season and is unlucky to miss out on that top 5, but again, just want to see a few more games from him next season. Pedro Chirivella looks like he's off to Nantes, a good French team, which is a shame actually, because there's an argument for Chirivella that we should maybe have kept him for another season. He's gone now, but he did play some good games, and I remember against Arsenal, against Shrewsbury, he did look good. So a good servant to the club. Has played for Liverpool for about 5 years now, nicking a few first team appearances, but mostly in the reserves, but a good servant over the last 5 years. So all the best to Pedro. Rafa Camacho, who's now at Sporting Lisbon. Ben Woodburn, still to this day our youngest goal scorer, I think. Jordan Rossiter, who scored at Anfield on his debut against Middlesbrough in the League Cup in 2015-16. We've got Ovi Iyaria, who's at Rangers, or was at Rangers. John Flanagan also was at Rangers, came through in 2011. I remember he started a huge game against Man City that we won 3-0. The same game that Andy Carroll really announced himself onto Liverpool's terraces with 2 goals. Suso, good player. Some say that we should never have let him go, now at AC Milan. Brad Smith played a few good games for Liverpool in Klopp's first season. Remember him scoring away at Exeter, I think, in the League Cup. Cameron Brannigan, still around. Conor Randall, a few games he's nicked. Sergi Canos, a young promising player at the time who was coming through. Now is or has been captain a few times for Brentford. João Carlos Teixeira, a player that scored in a replay at home to Exeter. We won that 3-0. Haven't really seen him after that, to be honest. Adam Morgan, who came through around the same time as Connor Cody, 2011, 12, 13 kind of era. Remember he scored a big goal in pre-season out in Australia. Unfortunately, he's kind of in the lower leagues now. A lot of promise was made of him. They were comparing him to Robbie Fowler at the time when he was coming through, but can't all be Stevie G. Danny Pacheco as well, good player around I'd say the 2009 to 2012 kind of era. Went on to play for Norwich. And then Jay Spearing, who I believe is still at Bolton or Blackpool. So yeah, they're the honourable mentions. Of course, I could find more to put on, but they're the main ones that I've trawled through the internet to find stats and statistics, and they remain in the honourable mentions list. Of course, there are some players like Raheem Sterling, who you could say would be number 1 in the top 5, but doesn't play for us anymore. And thank goodness for that, because since he's gone, we've won it all, apart from the FA Cup and League Cup. Okay, well listen, that's the first of our top 5s here on the Kop TV. We're going to have way more top 5s for you, including signings, summer signings, winter signings, Spanish players, Scousers, goals. We're going to have it all, so let us know what other top 5s you want to see in the comments below. Don't forget, we'll be looking at those to really get some feedback from you about what more you want to see on the channel. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stick around for more great content here on the Kop TV.